Hey everyone, welcome back to another math video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to find the volume to a prism. So let's go ahead and let's get started by looking at the formula for how to find the volume of a prism. Okay, so first off, the volume of a prism is basically when we multiply the area of the base and the height of the prism. So whatever shape we're dealing with, we basically take the area of the bottom. They're kind of identified with a capital B, and we multiply that by the height, okay? And this is what makes up the volume, all right? When we take these two things and we multiply them together. Now, depending on the shape you're going to see today, the shape will determine what we actually end up getting for our volume, okay? And what the base is going to be, all right? So sometimes we're dealing with rectangles, sometimes we're dealing with triangles, but depending on that, that's going to determine what we actually use for B in order to find B. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started by looking at our first example of a rectangular prism that we need to find the area of. Okay, so first off, I can see the three dimensions. This is 15 by 8 by 7, where 7 is the height. Okay, so my area or my formula, okay, for the volume is going to be B times H, where B is going to be the area of this top piece, that top rectangle, okay? I'm just looking for what is the area of that. So in order to find that, I would simply need to do 15 times 8 in order to find that, okay? So because the area of a rectangle is just the length times the width, so this is 15 times 8, that is my base, times the height, okay? Well, you know what, let's do it this way. B is going to be 15 times 8, okay? Which is equal to 120. So now that I know what B is, I can actually just plug this back in. I get V equals, the volume is going to equal 120 times 7, okay? Multiplying these two together, you should get 840. And I don't know, this is in inches, so our dimensions are inches cubed for volume. And technically this was inches squared. All right, and that's how you find the volume to what we have here is a rectangular prism. Okay, but like I said, depending on what shape we have, in this case B was just length times width because we were dealing with a rectangle. Okay, that's the area of a rectangle. B for this case was the length times the width. That's not always going to be the case, okay? As you're going to see in this next problem, now we have a triangular prism, okay, where B is going to be the area of a triangle. And the area of a triangle, so even though my formula is still the base times the height, the area of the base, now what B ends up having to be, okay, is 1/2 of base times height, lowercase b, for the triangle, okay? And where H is the height of that triangle. All right, so first I can already see that H over here, okay, that is not the same H down here. All right, these two H's are not the same. The H for the volume is the height of the actual prism, which is 7. Okay, I can see that here. The H for the area of my base, which is this one, is talking about the height of this triangle on the bottom. So in order to do this, I have to B equals 1/2 times the base of this bottom triangle, which is 3, times the height of that bottom triangle, which they labeled as 1. Okay, so 1/2 times 3 times 1, you do that correctly, you get 3 halves, or 1.5. Okay, either will work. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and keep the fraction though. So then I'm gonna get the volume of this triangle. We already found B, that's 3 halves times 7 okay, do this correctly, you get 21 over 2 or 10.5. And these are in meters, so this would be meters cubed, where this one was meters squared. And that's how you find the volume of a triangular prism. Okay, so depending on what shape the base is, that's what's going to determine what you have to do for B in your volume formula. All right, so keep that in mind as you work on these types of problems. So hopefully now you feel like you can find the volume to a rectangular or triangular prism. Okay, always just make sure that you're keeping in mind what is the area of that capital B, which is your base. Okay, if it's a rectangle, you want to do length times width. If it's triangle, you want to do 1/2 the base of that triangle and the height of that triangle. Okay, so definitely be careful with that. Once you feel comfortable with these, definitely check out the next video that's going to be on how to find the volume to a cylinder, which is just a little bit different. Okay, similar, but yes, it is different. As always, I just want to thank you for watching. I hope you learned some math, and I'll see you next time.